Hey everybody, Melody here with Making Melody Crafts. Today we're going to be making a Valentine's card and it's going to be a slimline card. So I've already stamped this image and I stamped that with the Memento ink, the Tuxedo black. So let's get right into it. Alright, we're going to do a voiceover for you now and speed this up a little bit. For this video I used alcohol markers and colored pencils, specifically Copics and Prismacolors, but you can use any alcohol marker and any colored pencil. All alcohol markers work together, whether you're using Sharpies or any other alcohol marker or Copics. So I started coloring the little girl's hair using E13, and all the colors that I'm using will be in the description box below. The trick with alcohol markers is that you need to work a small area at a time if you want to do any blending, just because it dries so quickly. And I wanted to let you know, someone has to see our dog. So at the end of the video, you will get to see him. He's going to make his YouTube debut. Pretty exciting. Now see how I turn the image around and upside down, and that's a great thing to do when you're using colored pencils or markers. Just turn it around so you can get a better angle. Alright, so now, speaking of colored pencils, we're bringing them to the party. So I've got a bunch of my Copics there, and then using that red pencil, and again, whatever the number that is, it'll be in the description box below. We're going to color the little patch on his jeans, and then check that out in his back pocket. There's a little heart there, so we're going to color that red too. And I was wondering if any of you know, that Copic there dried out on me. I have another one that did as well, and I know there's ink in there, so do you have any ideas or solutions for how to do that? If you know, let me know in the comments below. So that spot there is water, but then I noticed, hey, that other spot on the top of his head isn't water, that's little bits of his hair sticking up. This image is just adorable. It's made by Stampendous, and it's called Love is Uplifting. The stamp is vintage. I think it's from the 80s or 90s. I've had it all these years. Something that you're going to need to know if you're using Prismacolors, you don't need to have the Prismacolor sharpener, which is what I'm using there, but definitely use your non-dominant hand, and then also turn the sharpener, not the pencil, which I usually remember to do. Now we're going to go ahead and color that water fountain. I just wanted to keep it kind of, gray and neutral, because the two little kids there, they're really the star of this stamp and of this image. I believe I used the 20% warm gray and the 50% warm gray, but again, just check out that description box below if you want to see what the colors are specifically. I moved my hand a little further up the barrel there of the pencil because I tend to be kind of heavy-handed, so that just helps me to not color quite so hard when I want to have just a lighter look there. Now we're going to do a little bit of shading with that darker gray. Oh, and I see what's peeking out from behind there. There's a mushroom behind the water fountain. A whole bunch of mushrooms in this image. I think, my gosh, I think there's like 7 or 8 of them. Some of them have polka dots, just absolutely adorable. And then that little froggy sitting on top of one. We'll get to him in a little bit. I colored him a little bit later. Then I went in with this black colored pencil because this water fountain just kind of disappeared as I was coloring. So coloring back over the stamp lines that I originally did just made that image pop again. And now, oh my gosh, I love this part so much. We're going to color her dress, and I'm going to do yellow. Using Y13 and Y19, yellow's not even my favorite color, but oh my gosh, it's just so much fun because, I don't know, yellow, sunshine, it's pretty chilly here, so yeah, I'm really looking forward to that, and seeing a little more sunshine and warm days. And speaking of the chilly weather, if you do hear my furnace come on, I apologize, but it is pretty cold out, so I did not want to shut off the heat. Now coloring really carefully, and again, like I mentioned before, just turn it to get a better angle if it makes it easier. I usually do film upside down. Now I scribbled off a little bit there because I got into a little bit of the brown as I was using the yellow, so just go ahead and do that if your marker picks up any other color. And now using that Y19 we highlighted there, or shaded. Alright, so I grabbed some greens, and now let's go. We're going to color that little frog. He's adorable. And now using that red, I wanted that to show up again here, so I did the little dots on the mushrooms. It's hard to tell there, but I'll zoom in for you a little bit later and then you'll be able to see the little dots on the mushrooms. For the hair there, I had used E13. And again, just check that description box. Now onto the shoes. So the grass sticks up a little bit, you know, the little blades of grass stick up a little bit. So that tip on the Copic is just awesome for that because you can get right in there. Now, oh my gosh, you've got to see this next part. So I'm coloring her shoes, right? Adorable. I'm like, yeah, brown shoes. Okay, that'll be cute. And watch what happens. Got the one shoe and whoop. Yeah, just colored his shirt brown, which is not what I wanted, but you know what? I left it in. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. Now we got the other shoe. Now, all right, I realize I'm going to fix this. So grab a little cotton swab, grab some hand sanitizer. Like dissolves like. You've got an alcohol marker, so just squirt a little bit of that out. And then using your cotton swab, we're going to dab into there. Just watch the magic happen. I love moments like this because it's so cool, right? You can fix something. All is not lost. So it looks like I'm kind of scrubbing the paper because the video is sped up, but I'm really just dabbing at it quickly, almost like a stenciling motion. Now you can see a little bit better. I zoomed you in there, right? And then I saw another area. I'm like, oh yeah, there's another little spot. Let's grab that too. And that ink that I stamped it in is the Memento Tuxedo Black. Like I mentioned in the beginning, that ink, oh my gosh, look how cool it is. It didn't fade even with the alcohol that I used there, the hand sanitizer that I used. I went ahead and used the other end of the cotton swab just to kind of dry it up. And I wanted you to know, just dabbing, so don't scrub your paper. The paper that I'm using for this video is the Neenah paper, the Exact Index. It does have a recycled content, so just be aware of that. If you use it, it could behave a little bit differently. I frankly haven't noticed a difference in the ways that I use it, but just so that you know. And it's 110-pound cardstock. That's what I like to use for all my cards. It's quite sturdy. Now for the skin tone, I used E11. His eye is open, her eye is shut there. I think, you know, maybe because the water is going to come up and so you would naturally maybe close your eyes as you take a drink of water. But I was careful there to color just around his eye. And now I grabbed the pink, right? Because I just wanted to add a little blush in their cheeks. And I went ahead and scribbled that off because if I had any of that brown on there, right? I just didn't want that like that. Then I'm trying to blend it out. All right, and now I think that is B04. And that's the Tahitian blue. Such a fun name for a color. I wanted that bow in her hair to be blue. And you'll see why in just a bit. So we've got the water droplets there. And then, yes, so I want his pants and shirt to be blue. I just thought they looked so cute, the yellow and blue together. Very gingerly coloring around there. So that's the thing when you're using markers and colored pencils. The marker can pick up the wax of the colored pencil that you're using, and it can really damage your marker. I have ruined markers that way before. So you could either just wait until you're at the end of using your alcohol markers or any other markers and then come in with your colored pencils, or just be really careful, as I hope I did, doing this image here. And then I just scribble them off quickly if I think I got a little too close. And now the magic hopefully happens. Let's see when I color that. I'm so thrilled with how that came out because it's just an adorable image. I thought that looked a little bluish brown, and watch as you just see that dry, boom, doesn't it look more blue? I mean, like, how did that happen? So cool. Alright, so now we're going to get the rest of his shirt going around the little patch on his elbow. Right, and now I think I move on to the hair next. Oh, after some highlighting here. Getting his little pocket, his elbow patch. And then I just kind of want to blend that all out. So back to the B04 for that. So got that accomplished. And now let's do that arc of water. Ooh. Nice and steady. Well, mostly steady. You know how it is. So I like doing this here because it really frames out the image. And I just try to drag the marker down closer to me so that I have more control over that. All right, and now, you know, her dress is adorable in the yellow, and yes, the little heart in his back pocket on the little slingshot, also super adorable, but the grass, my gosh, when I colored this, I was like, wow, it just grounds the whole thing. I love how it looks. I just used 2 colors of green. Honestly, you could probably have used 1. It's really not a very big area, but I just liked using a little lighter green and then a darker green. And I did kind of a zigzag motion. I was using kind of a maybe a little bit of like a swirling motion there with the pencils, but I like the zigzag better. I think it looked more natural. Then I went in here and just kind of darkened the hair back up because I just didn't think it looked kind of complete enough. When we're done here, you're going to see the back. Now for this part, if you're squeamish, please look away. We are using Copics, and we are just going to get a little spray of that alcohol ink on there by just kind of snapping it against the cap. Okay, granted, I may have gone a little overboard here with the splattering, but it was just such a good time. Now, grabbing that dauber, then I went in and just kind of added some brown ink to the edges because I want to really frame out the whole thing. So I like edging that. And then I realized, wow, this is a pretty big card, and that's a little dauber. Let's just go pedal to the metal. I'm just going to bring that paper right to the ink pad and scrape it on there. I don't recommend that for your expensive ink pads, honestly, but that ink pad I've had a really long time myself, and I also purchased it secondhand, so that was Stampin' Up! Close to Cocoa. That's one of their older colors, but they're just awesome. Those colors last and last. These Ranger products I adore. This is dye ink, oil-based, and this is the brown, so we're going to stamp our Happy Valentine's Day stamp there, so we get our sentiment on our card. And now I do go back in and color that a little bit. I didn't hold the stamp there quite long enough. You just do need to give that stamp time to transfer. Now you can see it's a little bit long there, so I'm going to trim that. So next I'm bringing that X-Acto paper trimmer in. I've had that for years and years, and that little paper trimmer still works. It's wonderful just for some quick little, trimming that I need to do. And if you hear the dog in the background here, he's excited to know that he's going to be famous, right? Right? All right, so now on the card base, I want to make sure that I have this on there correctly as I want it. Now I know I've got the right size. There we go, trimming that down. It got stuck there on me a little bit, and there's another piece, watch, you see. There's another piece stuck there. Oh, we're going to get that out of there. There we go. I like to do that right away. If there's any tools I have and something gets stuck on there, I do it right away because the next time I go to use it, I might not remember that it was like that. All right, now I'm going to grab Grandma's scissors here in just a minute. Right after I trim that. And then we're going to go ahead and get the brads in. So here's my grandmother's old scissors. I think those are Bakelite, I'm not sure. And they're not very sharp, but I just like to use them to make a little bit of a hole there before I put the brads in. And then, I didn't have any more heart-shaped brads left. And you know what? It's all right, right? We can make a Valentine's card, and I think it's okay if we don't have heart-shaped brads. Everything will be all right. So, I chose a light blue, a dark blue, and a red. Just wasn't sure exactly what I wanted for this. And you'll see, just kind of trying them out. There's the light blue. What do you think? Then we got the dark blue. And then I also put the red in at the bottom just to see what I thought of that, to see how that would look. I thought it would kind of bring in the little patch on his pants and then the little red heart that he has in his back pocket. Yeah, but then in the long run, I thought, you know what? There's so much blue in there, I just want to bring that back out again. So I settled on the blue. It doesn't have to be all pink or red just because it's a Valentine's card. And if Valentine's Day is a hard holiday for you, that's all right. Just think of it as a friendship day. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, now that I've settled on what color brad I wanted, I'm going to go ahead and flip the little backs out there to hold it in place. Slimline card dimensions are typically 4 inches by 9.25, but that can vary. What I love about this image too is it's like friendship, you know, helping each other. And he's picking her up to help her get a drink. I just think that's kind of wonderful, right? It's just so sweet what friendship is all about, helping each other. See on the back there, you can see a little bit of the alcohol marker coming through. That's okay, that does happen. Just be aware of that. So if you're going to use alcohol markers on a card, on any image that you're going to color, go ahead and do it on a separate piece and then get it down onto the base. That's my ATG that I'm using there, my adhesive tape glider. I went ahead and added some contact paper to that. Pink's not my favorite color, so I just added some black and white contact paper there for some contrast. I put a little, probably too much, no, let's say plenty, just enough tape on that. When I put a card together, my main thing is I want it to look wonderful, I want the person to know I care, and I do not want it to come apart. So no stranger to tape and glue here at Making Melody Crafts. And that was the Scotch, oh my goodness, I just drew a blank on that glue stick, and I use it all the time, Scotch Create glue stick that I used. It's wonderful because it gives you a second to position it. So you know, that little scrap paper under there, I'm going to move it. There we go. Alright, now, you know, it can be a struggle sometimes getting these things positioned. It's okay if it's not absolutely perfect, but if you get 2 of your corners correct, the other 2 will usually work out. So we've got that down. I want to make sure that image is going to stay. And then in just a little bit, I'm going to bring the other card in and show you so that you can see the other image that I did. Well, you know, one of the 10 other ones that I did before I finished the filming of this. All right, now we're going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment on the inside. As I'm getting ready for that and inking that stamp entirely too much, I wanted to let you know also that I have a video all about organizing the Prismacolor colored pencils and a way to store them because they are fragile. So I'll link that video here. Now, just kind of holding the card in place. It does help to have a grid when you're stamping. If you didn't have one, you could always make one. And that image is made by Stampendous. And it says, I will always love you. Just such a cute card. I had such a good time coloring this. So this one here I did with a watercolor splatter, and I chose not to do the brads on this one. So which one do you like better? This one has less of the splattering, and it's just watercolor, and no brads, a little bit more of a clean look, as clean as it gets with me because, you know, I'm kind of a messy crafter and I like kind of that grungy look on things, but really cute Valentine's Day cards and a slimline card. And I've had so much fun making this, and as you know, if you've had some fun or learned something, please subscribe. Why not? It's free. And I'll catch you later. As promised, I'm going to show you my dog. So this is my dog. This is Dusty, and he's the one that you're usually hearing making noise when I'm filming and whatnot. So yeah, that's my sweet doggy, and he's a good boy. You say hello to everybody? He's waiting for food. That's why he's so quiet. Yes, you're a good dog. Yeah. All right, say bye. All right, and again, thanks for watching. If you had some fun or learned something, please subscribe. I'd appreciate it so much. And while you're at it, maybe give this video a thumbs up. That really helps me get noticed by YouTube. And we'll catch you later.